If you're a woman who just feels like you're spinning your wheels and you've done all the things that you think you're supposed to do to create a beautiful life, but you're irritable or anxious or unfulfilled or unhappy or sad or lonely, I want you to know, like, you are truly not alone.
Hey, I'm Brooke Jean, therapist, recovering perfectionist, and struggling working mom on a mission to normalize normal. If you're an overwhelmed, high-achieving, and secretly anxious mama, struggling to balance it all and on the brink of burnout, you are in the right place. Here is where we talk about hard things like balancing work and family life, mental health, and how to navigate life-altering transitions. Nothing is too taboo here. In my conversations, I'll teach you how to let go of who you think you're supposed to be in order to create the life you've always wanted. Get ready to embrace your messy, shed the shoulds, and find freedom through a life unperfected. This is the Unperfected Pod.
Welcome back to the Unperfected Pod, where we normalize normal and find freedom in a life unperfected. Y'all, I am coming at you in my favorite spot in the house in the afternoons. Okay, I am sitting in my downstairs office in my blue velvet love seat that's pushed up against a window, where when it's the afternoon and the sun is starting to set, we get this gorgeous light and this warmth. And so, like a cat, I come and I sit in this sofa, on this sofa, in this sunbeam, and I warm up. And this is my happy place. I read books here. I work here. I watch videos here. And today I decided that I wanted to podcast from here because I was freezing everywhere else in my house. I cannot stand to sit at my desk for another second, feeling like I'm on a Zoom meeting. And so I'm deciding to come here. So excuse me. This is what we're doing. We make it work. Also, I don't know if you can see behind me. Look at this gorgeous art of this woman who is just totally free and stepping into her becoming, into her abundance, in all her glory. Like this, if you can watch this on YouTube, this is the image in my mind of the woman unperfected. Just like free from the confines of her own mind, free from perfectionism, free from the masks and the coping mechanisms that she developed to keep herself relevant, safe, loved, validated, all of that. Like stepping into her power and realizing just how potent she actually is. And when she remembers who she is under who the world told her to be, and she reconnects to her power and she reconnects to her potency, then she becomes this like magnificent creative being that brings so much good to the world. And, that's just a little bit on why we're here, honey, what the mission is, why we care, why we're doing this work in the world. Because when a woman unmasks herself and unperfects herself and steps into the truest expression of who she is, the world shifts, the world changes. A woman who loves herself and likes herself and believes in her gifts. Oh, and when we as women do this work together and we come together out of love instead of comparison, out of collaboration instead of jealousy, dude, we could solve the most complex of the world's problems with our gifts once we unmask ourselves. So anyways, that's just, a little piece on why we do what we do around here. We've come out of a 3-day weekend. So if you're here in America, you had Labor Day. And I just want to say this in a safe container. I don't love 3-day weekends when my husband has to work and it's just me and my daughter, and my daughter doesn't want to go do anything or go anywhere. And so it's me and her bestie for the restie. And all I'm doing is hearing screams and squeals and following them around with the hand vac, cleaning up the endless crumbs from the endless snacks and cleaning up all the messes that they make because my husband, who bless his heart legitimately has OCD, can't stand them. So I'm at home just being tortured by these cute little civilians, trying to keep the house clean so my husband doesn't become paralyzed, sober while everyone else is like camping. Although that doesn't sound super fun with children either. Maybe you that went camping with your family were also in your own version of torture. I don't know, but listen, solo parenting is hard. Solo parenting on a holiday weekend when it seems like everyone's doing something cool is hard. Doing all that while not drinking, hard. Like basically, I'm physically sore today from the following up with the 2 7-year-olds and like setting up the kiddie pool and doing all the things. Now, we did have some moments that were beautiful. We definitely had some moments that were beautiful. And my daughter had the best weekend ever. But I wanted to take her to the pool because the pool is closing, but she doesn't want to go to the pool because she has a little PTSD legitimately from there was like a really bad windstorm. And one of the lounge chairs, like the long ones, flew up high, like 50 feet up into the air, maybe even like 100, like high, and was spiraling. And it was this like moment where everyone was like in a quiet panic at the pool. And then we all like chaos ensued and we all had to run inside. And so Chloe now is afraid to go swimming because she's associating the swimming pool with this windstorm and this chair that flew in the air and that everyone was afraid. And so she doesn't want to go swimming. And then she didn't want to go down to my parents' house because she didn't want to drive for 2.5 hours in the car. And then on Monday, we were going to go to Evergreen Lake. Well, then she threw a big old fit. It's basically, I was just held hostage in my own home by my daughter. And I get it. I've allowed that. So it's on me, but I would like somewhere that I could vent about it without judgment. Okay. So that's how my holiday weekend went. How was yours? Hopefully you had some fun. Hopefully you had some play, some pleasure, some rest. Or maybe you're like me and literally need a vacation from the 3-day weekend with children, I should say. Yeah, like doing things with kids in your 40s, like it's exhausting. I'm just going to say it. I'm physically tired from just cleaning up crumbs and setting up the kiddie pool. Like, what is this life? Okay. But I also truly do know, since I have an older child, like the fact that I get to spend that time with her is really precious. And my husband has to work and he would much rather be home, with us. So it is what it is. We make the best of it, but I am feeling sore and tired from the 3-day weekend. Any who houses. I wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about what I believe keeps women stuck. So I've been having a lot of conversation with women about this whole like stuck and spinning and being on the hamster wheel and like living a life that you don't actually love, but not really feeling like you can do anything about it, or living in your head with your anxiety and not really feeling like you can do anything about it. And first, I want to just say, like, if you're a woman who just feels like you're spinning your wheels and you've done all the things that you think you're supposed to do to create a beautiful life, but you're, irritable or anxious or unfulfilled or unhappy or sad or lonely, I want you to know, like, you are truly not alone. There are so many of us that go through this, or you're feeling like you're in a marriage that's no longer right, but you're stuck until I don't know whenever you're telling yourself, or you're in a job that is not in alignment with your true gifts. It doesn't make you feel alive. It just feels like you're doing the responsible thing to do, but you feel stuck. Or maybe you're stuck living in a region in the world that's close to your parents so you can take care of them or your kids' schools because you found a good school, but you feel stuck because you actually don't want to live here anymore. You don't want to be in the body that you're in, the relationship that you're in, the job that you're in, the house that you're in, the car that you're in, the style that you're in, the community that you're in. There's a million places that we can find ourselves really, truly stuck. And I am in the business to help women get unstuck and to start living their life according to their heart's desires and their soul's desires. But I wanted to highlight a really like key rooted thing that is so real and crippling and like creates this almost like self-fulfilling prophecy that really gets in women's way of doing something different to get a different result in their life, of living courageously and saying, I don't want to work here anymore. I want more, or I want different, or whatever. And it's the belief that you're not deserving of whatever that thing represents. So, do you have a belief that you are only deserving of a certain amount of love, of wealth, of opportunity, of freedom? Like, this hits in every single category, right? So, like, as a mom, how much freedom am I allowed to have? As a, middle class citizen, how much wealth am I allowed to have? As a woman, how much stature am I allowed to have? As a married woman, how much sexuality am I allowed to have? As a married woman with children, how much self care am I allowed to have? Like, we all have this cap on what we think we're allowed to have. We have like a cap on our capacity to receive. Like, I am only allowed to have this much money, this much love, this much sex, this much abundance, this much opportunity, this many, girls' trips, this many yoga classes a week. I'm only allowed to make this much money because I didn't come from money. I'm only allowed to make this much money because I don't want to demasculate my husband. I'm only allowed to, right? So it's like, where are you putting a cap on what you're able to receive? Where are you limiting your capacity? Because maybe that's just the way it's always been. That's what you've always seen. That's how the women did it in your family. The messages that you received growing up were don't want too much, don't take more than your share. But we have the core is that we have this belief that we shouldn't have more, or that we're not deserving of more, or that we're not capable of more. There's some sort of belief that says, I can't have that. So why even try? So I want you to start to pay attention to this in your life. Where are you like putting a limit on what you can experience, on how good it gets to be, on how good you get to feel, on how great you get to stand out, on how beautiful you get to be, on how pristine your energy gets to be? Like, where are you putting a cap on it? Well, I can only make this. I can only have that because fill in the blank. So many women are taught, like, don't be greedy. Don't take more than your share. You can't have that. You can't have that and then ask for that. You can't have that and expect that. I hear this about marriages all the time. Like, you can't have a man who makes money and is handsome and treats you like a queen. It's like you got to pick one or the other. You can't have a man who makes money and is handsome and cleans the house. No, you get one, maybe two if you're lucky. You can't have a man who actually loves you in your love language and you can fully trust him and he's attractive and he makes money. That doesn't exist. In fact, I used to have beliefs like that in my younger self. It's like, man, the really attractive guys that make a lot of money, stay away from them. They're narcissistic. They're going to love bomb you and have bitches on the side. Is that true? Is that really true for all of us? Like, are all men that way? No. We've just put a cap on it. Like, as the woman of the house, as the mother of the house, as the matriarch, I can't be the one that has the big career and be traveling for work all the time. I need to be there for my kids. I need to be at all their things. So I might as well not even try. Is that really true? Or is that a self-limiting belief? I have all these responsibilities. I need to take care of all these things before I can do something for my self-care. I need to make sure all my kids' expenses and everything are good before I can get a massage. I need to make sure that we have enough savings before I can go travel and see the world. Like, is it really true? So this belief that we can't have, that there's a cap on our capacity to receive, it all comes from something that we've created in our mind based on our lived experience. And so when we really want to get unstuck, when we really want to become unstoppable, when we really want to live a great life that we absolutely love, we have to look at where we are limiting ourselves. Where are you limiting yourself? Where are you saying, I couldn't ask for that? I couldn't expect that. Because what you're really saying is, I don't think I deserve that. I don't think I deserve that. I don't think I deserve that. And that's not the message that we want to be sending ourselves, our inner children, the universe. The truth is that you were born worthy. You were born worthy and deserving of all the love, all the opportunity, all the pleasure, all the joy, all the abundance that the world and the universe has to offer. You were born worthy. Just somewhere along the way, you forgot because the world told you that you weren't enough. So you started looking outside of yourself to be enough. But the truth is, you were born worthy. You were born deserving. I know you feel this about your kids. I speak about this a lot on the podcast. I know you feel that way about your kids. So, what's keeping you stuck right now is, well, I should be grateful for what I have, which true. We should always find something to be grateful for. I believe that wholeheartedly. But I can't have a better marriage, a better job, a better living situation, a sexier romantic relationship, more clients, more money, more travel, more help around the house. I can't have that though. Why not? Because you don't know if you are capable, worthy, or deserving of. This is the root of it. This is the work that we get to do, that we get to heal as women. We have to remember that we were born worthy. We have to reconnect to that essence that we've always been. And we have to courageously decide, no, I am deserving and worthy of whatever my soul and heart desires, just like anybody else, just like everybody else. And who decides what's a good thing to want or a bad thing to want or a good dream to have or no, there's no good or bad, right or wrong. Whatever your heart desires is perfectly acceptable. What if we lived in that paradigm? Like, what if I could have a flourishing, growing family and a successful business and a loving marriage and tons of time to work and play, and my kids were taken care of, and I had tons of self-care, and. Here's an exercise you could do. Start to write out your dreams and what you want and notice where you stop. So you might say, Brooke, I'm actually comfortable with, I want a more intimate relationship with my partner. No problem. I want to make more money. No problem. I want to have a house cleaner. No problem. I want my kids to go to a good school. No problem. I want to take family trips. No problem. And then you stop because there's a part of you that goes, I can't ask for more than that. On top of all that, I don't know if I feel okay saying out loud that I would like to go to Italy and I'd like to get my toenails done and I'd like to have someone cook meals for me and I would like to have soul sisters and friendships and I'd like to have good mentors and I'd like to read the juiciest books and have cappuccino on my front porch every single day and I'd like to live in Vail, Colorado and you will go through, I would like to have boom, 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 but there you will pause and I want you to get curious about where you pause. What else? What else would you like to have? Who else would you like to be? What else would you like to experience? What else do you desire? Why'd you stop there? Well, because it's silly. I don't think I'm smart enough to make $1,000,000. I don't think I'm good enough to make $1,000,000. I don't think I'm special enough to make $1,000,000. I don't think I'm talented enough to release an EP. I don't think I'm funny enough to become a comedian. I don't think I'm sexy enough to get back into the dating scene. I just need to raise my kids and focus on work. Like, where are you limiting yourself, babe? As the feminine, we are designed to receive. I shared with you guys on last week's podcast that I realized that I was in a wounded masculine energy for a long time. At some point when I was little, I realized I had to be super independent and I started making shit happen in my life. And that wounded masculinity, that toxic masculinity, actually saved me in a lot of ways. And it kept me safe and it kept me driven. And I had a lot of success. You know, a bitch got what she wanted that way. And there was a cap on that eventually because I was completely denying half of my existence, which is my feminine energy, which is my heart, which is my soul, which is my creation, which is my desires, which is pleasure, which is my ability to receive, honey, to enjoy. And so this year in January, I set an intention. I would like to get to know my feminine side more. I would like to understand this. What is this toxic masculinity thing? What is this femininity thing? What is that delicate dance that I want to create in my own being, in my own existence? Is there another way to be successful? I know there is. And so I started learning it. And that's why I joined the mastermind that I'm a part of, was because I knew the coach was really, really strong in this. But I've been taking it to a whole new level lately. Like my whole intention for August, I like canceled events, was to just rest, recover, and receive because summer did you girl in. Summer as a working parent did me in. So I decided August was going to be rest, recover, and receive. And I did better with that than I would have done in the past. And in some ways, I struggled. And it felt really good and juicy to stop pushing so hard and trying and efforting and like being the boss and making shit happen all the time. Like, what if I set my intention and I follow the joy and I follow what feels good and I show up for the things that matter and I move the needle forward, and the rest I get to just like receive when I'm in a meditation or reading my daughter a book or in the pool at the gym or on the mountain on a hike or sitting on my couch in my sunspot. Like, I didn't have a dip in my sales. I didn't have a dip anywhere. I do feel like I got closer to my partner though. So I'm trying to soften. I'm trying to grow my capacity to receive because as a woman, I'm designed to receive. I just forgot somewhere along the way how to do that. So my guess is you maybe did too. Maybe you've forgotten how to receive. And maybe you forgot that what you could receive is limitless. Like we live in an electromagnetic field of infinite possibilities. Everything you can dream of and more. Everything I can dream of and more. What's happened, what hasn't happened. Things that are not even in our conscious mind yet. They all exist in the universe, in the electromagnetic field. If I don't believe that I'm deserving of all the good that exists in the field, then I'm not going to do what I need to do to be who I need to be to resonate with those things. I'm not going to call them into my world. So there's a lot of women that are still efforting, like, I'm doing the strategy, I'm doing the action plan, I'm trying my best, I'm perfecting it, I'm doing, but I'm not happy. I'm doing, but I'm not getting the result. I'm doing, but my business isn't taking off. And it's like, well, because we're doing too much doing, honey. But this goes against society's grain. This goes against the conditioning of what we were taught. But you're doing too much doing. Set your vision. Everything starts with an intention. Who is the woman that you want to be? And then show up as her, as if you're already there. But stop efforting so hard that you're spiraling out. Like, do a little thing and then go relax. Do a little thing and then go take a break. Do a little thing and go get some nourishment. Do a little thing and do some self-care. And watch what you open up to when you do that. See what you can receive, but get curious about where your your cap is on that. Because again, I am finding that us women, we have a cap on what we think we should be able to receive. We have a cap on what we think we're deserving of. I'm deserving of a healthy relationship, but I'm not deserving of that. and being a millionaire and living where I want to live and having the family memories I want to have and. We go, oh God, that's too much to ask for. Why? We live in a world of infinite possibility. Why is that too much to ask for? Because you don't know if you're deserving of it. So we got to do the work. We got to do the work with our inner child to remind her that she is worthy of, deserving of all of the love and the beauty and the goodness that the world has to offer. That she doesn't have to seek outside of herself for that reassurance and that remembering and that validation. She has to go inside. She has the gifts, she has the heart, she has the energy. We are women. We birth creation. We are the creators. But do you know how we create? We receive first. Think about that for a minute. How we create, like birthing a child, we receive first. We have to get pregnant first, right? So, what if we were to try and do things this way? From a place of worthiness, a place of enoughness, a place of really being reconnected and embodying our purpose and our power and our energy and our creation. And what would be possible if we so entrusted in that and so surrendered into that that we became a magnet for fucking miracles? Let's become a magnet for miracles. You know what is a magnet for miracles? Unshakable self-worth. Unshakable self-worth. You know what's a repellent to miracles? Believing that you're not deserving and believing that you're not deserving and worthy of love, abundance, goodness, all of it. So what do you think that you're deserving of? And what's your cap? And your higher self, what I call the CEO self, has to reparent your inner child and your inner teenager. Your higher self has to calm your protectors down, because the part of you that says, oh, I can't have that, it's selfish. I can't have that, it's greedy. I need to do more to get that. I need to have more achievements. That part's a protective part. So I teach all of this inside the Unstuck and Unstoppable course. I help you connect to your protective parts. I help you connect to your child. I help you connect to your CEO self so that your CEO self can heal and integrate all the parts of you so that brick by brick, you can rebuild your self-worth in an unshakable way so that you can stand in your power and create from that place. You can have whatever you want in this life so long as you believe you can. I'm going to say that again, because this statement, I don't even know who I first heard it from, because it's not my original thought. I heard this for years before it really landed. Some things land when you're really ready to digest it and integrate it. You can have whatever you want to have so long as you believe you can. I can have all the love that I want so long as I believe I can have all the love that I want. I can have all the success that I want so long as I believe I can have all the success that I want. I can have all the joy, all the abundance. But if I believe that I'm unworthy of the best of the best of the best, if I believe it's too much to ask for and I'm not good enough and I'm not qualified and I'm not a good enough person, I don't deserve all that. Well, that's the reality that we're going to create. And sometimes there's real traumas that happen growing up that we need to heal, because the traumas are where we created the belief of unworthiness. So sometimes we have to do real trauma therapy and real trauma work to renegotiate that and to reteach the brain and body the new programming, which is I am worthy of love. I am deserving of love. I am good. I am golden. I am pure gold. I am deserving of everything I desire. Sometimes we have to heal the traumas that taught us differently to get that out of the way. But for now, because that's one-to-one therapeutic work, for now, I want you to just consider, what belief do I have around what I deserve? What belief do I have around having what I desire? What do I believe my capacity to receive is? And where am I putting a cap on that? Where am I saying, oh, that's enough. That's more than your share. It's not possible. Nobody gets it that good. Nobody has it all. Listen, I'm not saying we're going to have it all. Or no, you are going to have it all, but the all does include the messy bits. You're going to have it all, including menopause. You're going to have it all, including disagreements with your partner. We do still have the duality. I can have it all. And that doesn't mean that I'm free of any human pain and suffering. But I still, even with my human pain and suffering, get to create a life I'm obsessed with. My pain and my suffering and my trauma or my mental health does not disqualify me. In fact, if I do that work, it usually guides me down a direction that I need to go down so that I can improve my capacity to receive. I hope this is making sense because it totally might not be. What I want you to know is that it's important as women that we do this work on our self-worth, our deservingness. We need to believe that we are worthy and deserving of all the good the universe has to offer, all the good that God has to offer, all the good that Mother Nature has to offer. We need to remember that we were born worthy. We need to remember that our worth is inherent. It's not achieved through achievements. It's not earned through our output. We are golden because we were born. We are good enough as is. And when we start seeing that gold and when we start remembering how amazing we are, we start vibrating at a different frequency. We start to co-create with different things in the world. So doing that self-worth work, this deep work, and it is deep because it's usually our inner children that created these beliefs that we weren't worthy enough, or our inner teenager. It's usually from hard things like messages we heard from our parents or our coaches or our teachers or, traumas that we lived through that created these beliefs that we're not enough. So we have to do the deep inner work to transmute those experiences into our power, but it can be done. I'm living proof of that. I've taken my traumas and I've turned them into fuel for living more boldly in the world as a woman, as a mother, as a helper, a healer, coach, whatever you want to call me, mentor, guide, as a wife, as a community member, as a leader. My trauma informs who I am. It doesn't determine who I am. Your trauma informs who you are. It doesn't determine. There's a self inside of you that is bigger than all of that stuff combined. But you got to remember that you were born worthy. You just had some things in your life try to pull you out of that. It's time to come home to yourself. It's time to come home to your worth. And what you can create from that place is something you can't even imagine in your rational thinking mind right now. We live in a world of infinite possibility. But we have to change the channel of our vibration, our frequency, to illuminate those possibilities, to resonate those possibilities. So I teach these energetics. I teach the self-worth building. I teach the remembering who you are. I teach all this stuff inside my programs and in the one-to-one containers and the group containers, all of it. So, honey, work on your worth, baby. That's the moral of the story, is stop putting a cap on what you are deserving of. Take the cap off. Fly it to the moon. And if you want some help with that, get in my program, Unstuck and Unstoppable. I walk you through the process. I join the group once a month for a live coaching call, or my next mastermind is going to be coming up. If you want more information on any of that, go to my website, go to my links. But I love you so much. You are beautiful. You are worthy. You are lovable. Now start acting like it. Hey, mama, if you made it to the end of this episode, I just want to virtually high five you because you've said yes to the opportunity of taking better care of yourself. And that is so meaningful and so amazing. You have no idea the ripple of goodness that's to come. If you've been enjoying the show, if you've been finding it helpful, if you've laughed a little or learned a new technique, will you do me a favor? Will you make sure that you're following the show, that you've given us a 5-star rating and left a review? That will absolutely help us get this podcast into more heads and hearts of as many mamas as possible. Because when we heal the mother, we heal the world. Also, if there's a specific episode that you've loved, will you make sure to share it with a friend? Just send them the link or share it on social media and make sure you tag me at Brooke Jean Unperfected, because I absolutely love seeing that this is actually giving you the impact that you so desire and deserve. Thank you so much, mamas. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves and therefore each other.